All right, so today, beautiful people, we're talking about what are some real world scenarios where I would use uh, multiplication of decimals. So decimals don't exist just inside math class for your teachers to torture you with. Decimals are a real world occurrence. They come in all sorts of shapes and sizes. So I want us to first brainstorm, where do we see decimals outside of school? Where do we see decimals outside school? So think for a minute, pause this video, come up with some ideas of your own of where you see decimals outside of school. Okay, you should be back. So I've come up with a few ideas. I know I see decimals outside of school in money, because when you have change, it's like $5.03 or $5.03. Okay. I see decimals in weight. So if I'm weighing something on a scale, maybe it's 75 pounds, 0.75 pounds, or 75 hundredths of a pound. Sometimes people use decimals for time. So I would say that it is a 3:15. So it's 3:15, 3.25 hours. Okay. And another obvious one is distance. Okay, when we're talking about distance between two things, they're not always whole number distances. Like maybe I'm standing 6 feet and 3 inches away from someone. So I'm standing 6 feet and 3 out of 12 is a quarter. So 0.25. Yeah. So these are all instances where we use decimal outside school. If you came up with more, I added it to my math notebook. If you didn't, that's okay. These are really great examples. So let's start by doing an actual real life example. All right, so here's an example. You earn $9.15 per hour for painting fences, and it takes you 6 75 hundredths of an hour to paint. How much money do you earn for doing that? So a few key things about here. We know that we're using money and we're using time. Oops, sorry, I erased the decimal. And then also we know that we're multiplying because we're talking about per hour and we're giving a number of hours. So this combination of the word per hour and the number of hours tells us that we're going to multiply those two things. So we're going to take $9.15 and multiply it by $6 hours and 75 hundredths of an hour. So that's going to be a multiplication problem. And then just what we did yesterday takes over. So the first thing we're going to do is estimate. And remember, estimation is super important because it gives us a clear idea of what our answer should kind of look like. So 9 and 15 hundredths is really close to 9. And 6 and 75 hundredths is closer to 7. So 9 times 7. 9 times 7 is 63. So my answer should be around $63. Maybe a little more, maybe a little less, but I shouldn't have hundreds of dollars. I shouldn't have just $1. It should be around 63. Okay, so I'm going to start by moving the decimal 2 places here, 2 spots. And then 2 places here, 2 spots. Okay, when I move it on the top, it becomes 915. And when I move it for the bottom term, it becomes 675. Okay, this is going to be a big multiplication problem, so let's do it. 5 times 5 is 25, carry the 2. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 2 is 7. 5 times 9 is 45. Okay, now I take a minute and erase the number up top, and I cross out my 5, and I get a placeholder 0. 7 times 5 is 35, carry the 3. 7 times 1 is 7, plus 3 is 10, carry the 1. 7 times 9 is 63, plus 1 is 64. Wow, that's a lot. Okay, so again, I erase the stuff up top, and I mark off the 7. And this time I have 2 placeholder zeros because I have to account for the 5 and the 7. So now 6 times 5 is 30, carry the 3. 6 times 1 is 6, plus 3 is 9. And 6 times 9 is 54. Let's add all those together. I get a 5, 12, 6, 13, 17, 10, 11, 6. So this is a huge number. I need to move my decimal 4 spots.